our blood work is a snapshot in time that happened on Monday, February 1st, like Monday, February 1st. That was the snapshot in time. And so then we take the evidence of that snapshot, and then we get to form the beliefs or the thoughts, right? We can indulge the thoughts that we desire, which is going to bring us to a higher state of health. And then as we practice those thoughts, those will become our beliefs. And we can go in any direction that we want to go in with that. Welcome back to the Yogi Triathlete Podcast. I'm here with Beej in our monthly show. And just for the record, I was like so close to getting BJ to do the intro today.
Yeah, but Was
I that close? Or
you were close.
I was?
But it's the continuity of having your voice.
The brand.
People know, like, oh, it's about to drop.
It's on.
When your voice comes
it's on. And finally, this freaking...
Finally, we're recording.
This episode is happening.
If you could have seen all the things that were happening. Cameras, GoPro was coming out, double iPhone.
We were going to record it because we're trying to figure out the camera angles. We're trying to figure out how we can look like these big budget podcast shows when all we have is yoga blocks, a couple of bar stools, and some file boxes. Right?
Yeah.
And so we tried so many different things.
Welcome to minimalism.
We spent an hour, which I'm super proud. I don't feel like there was any tense moments between us in that hour. You were really with the flow. You cracked a couple jokes. I love that.
Are you saying I'm an entertainer?
No, I'm just saying I love when you're funny. I love when you're easygoing.
I'm always easygoing. I go with the flow.
So anyway, this podcast is...
Here we are.
Oh, that's a reference to my mother right there.
Yeah.
What does my mother say?
Go with the flow.
You know me. And what does she do?
She does not go with the flow.
She goes with the flow when it's going her way.
Right, Jones flow. That's what we need to add in there.
My mother is a very powerful Aries.
Yeah.
She is a fire sign, and she really does go with the flow when it goes her way. And when it doesn't go her way, she kind of bends steel to make it go her way.
So I guess we're all going in her. We're going to the flow, but it's Jones flow.
Yeah. Jones flow.
Leave our flow in the car.
Oh my gosh. All right. So I feel like I have a million things that are moving through me that I want to talk about, but so let's just see what falls out of the abyss into this episode.
Of this epic wisdom that we've generated.
Yeah, we're just setting the bar high, watch out guys, your whole life's about to change. But, I feel like some of the things that are moving through me are for the Awake Athlete podcast. I feel like some of the things that are moving through me are for the Awake Athlete community. And I feel like some of it is for this episode. So let's see.
Yeah. Where do you want to start? Do you want to start at Awake Athlete? Do you want to start at camp?
Yeah.
We just came off of camp.
Yeah. A quick update on Awake Athlete. So, kind of towards the end of the downloads for season 2, and I've dropped all the episodes, and I think I've got about 3 episodes that are stirring, that keep coming into my awareness, and those are gonna, whether all 3 of those come to fruition for this season, I don't know. I just trust that I keep aligning with a meaningful season of information for Awake Athlete. And then I get that, you know how it is, right? I get that hit and I'm like, I got to get in the closet. And you're like, okay, I'll go to the store and text me when I can come back into the house. Cause I need my space. I need my silence. Sometimes I send you upstairs with noise canceling headphones on, but,
and do not move. Be still.
Don't move.
If I hear you, are you moving?
Oh my God, another reference to my mother when I was a child and I would have bad dreams. I'd go into her room and I'd be like, Mom, can I get into bed with you? And she'd be like, okay, sweetie. And she'd get into bed. And this is so me. She'd be like, don't move. Stop moving. I'm like, oh my God, this is worse than the nightmare. So then I'd just go back into my own bed. But anyway, so I go into the closet and I drop these episodes, and Awake Athlete's been such a cool product of what I really want to continue to do in my life is to align for action as opposed to taking action. Like if I do this, I do this, then everything will align. And I'm aligning to the energy, to the intent, which is the seed for creation for this season 2. And then when I get inspired to act, it's like I'm going in the closet, you go upstairs or get out of the house. And so anyway, it's coming along, and spring 2021 is the information that I have as far as when that's going to drop. It is going to drop for the Awake Athletes and the Awake Athlete community first. Those bad boys are going to get the first look and the first listen on all of it. Probably, I'm thinking like maybe a month prior to the launch to the public. So that's super cool. We talked about Awake Athlete community in the last episode, and the Awake Athlete community is quote unquote full now. We did have those final 2 members, but come in. But this is what I want to say to people. If you have been sitting on this, if it comes into your awareness and you're like, oh, I want to do it. Oh, but the $65, I want to do it, but I forgot to do it. If you've been sitting on it, let me know and I will open up a spot for you. Because the sitting on it, the urge and the inspiration that you're having to be a part of this community, or maybe even the nervousness around it, is something. And so why don't we welcome it in and see what it is? So that's what I want to say about that. And that's about it for Awake Athlete.
Well, if you're sitting on it, you're reaffirming that belief that you have hits, and then you're just going to wait for the mind to come in and make sure it's something that you want to do.
Right. Or you go to Patreon and you're like, oh my God, it's sold out. Like, oh, I waited too long. And I think that, like, let's break that cycle. If you go there and you see that it's sold out and you're like, oh, I waited too long, but Jess said, message her and she'll open up a spot, that, the universe does have your back. Like, if you've been sitting on this and like, let me lend you a helping hand. Like, let's open up the door and bring you in.
We'll fulfill that hit.
Yeah. And our next one, this is actually going to launch after our next one, which is February 17th. So our next one will be in March, the next meetup in meditation. So I'm really looking forward to next week when we come together and welcome in these new members. And it's been, there's something really special, really, really special happening there. Something that I don't believe that the endurance sports world has ever seen. And what an elite group of people who are coming together. I mean, really. So that kind of leads into camp, but you were going to say something. What was it?
You don't have to be elite to join Awake Athlete.
Well, if you're called to it, you are.
Right.
Because
I just want to distinguish that, because someone's saying,
you don't have to be like an elite athlete.
I'm not an elite athlete.
I'm talking about elite mind.
Right.
Like the mind the athlete that's like ready for more than just swim, bike, and run.
Yes.
Like they're ready to be in concert with other athletes that are like, what is this whole non-physical situation that can aid in my performance? And what is this thing about optimizing breath and getting ideal CO2 levels for, maximum oxygen absorption, which that was like one of my favorite months. I think that was December we did that. And that meditation's up there for the Awake Athlete crew to download and repeatedly binge on. So yeah, but that kind of leads me into talking about being connected over Zoom into camp, which we just came off of camp.
Wow, that was amazing. Yeah, talk about Awake Athlete and getting together in that mindfulness session that we have once a month. Like, I felt like we were doing that quite often during this camp. And Zoom really set a framework for a virtual camp. It really allows you to check in prescribed times, whether you want to contribute or not, but be there and listen and show up and participate to your level. But you've mentioned this, and I know you're going to talk about it, but I think part of it was a success because people were in their own environment. We didn't have to come to sunny Southern California. and be here physically to participate. And so the camp structure is totally different than what we had originally planned months ago when we were going to set up this camp. It only came together in the final weeks where you were changing things up to fit this virtual opportunity. And we set it up so we had, I think it started Thursday night with a pizza social. And then we finished it up on Monday morning with yoga. And in between there, on Friday, we had a strength and mobility training class with Dr. Dave and Dr. Lindsay of Iowa Strength and Performance. They did that last year with us. This year they came on for a Zoom call, and they just were amazing how they just provided the workouts, the descriptions, being able to check on everyone's form, see what people were working through, and then address everyone's questions afterwards, which was, just so valuable for us endurance athletes. And then Saturday and Sunday was the meat of the weekend, where we did 3 Yogi Triathlete Triathlons on Saturday and 3 on Sunday. And it was comprised of a 1 hour, but it was a 5K or 5 mile run. In my case, I walked what I could, probably walked like 45 minutes with Clark for all of these. Then we had yoga for an hour, and that included the end of yoga was like a 10 to 20 minute meditation. So we incorporated running/walking, yoga, and then a mindfulness practice, which we did every 3 hours. So time zones weren't a problem. We had ours as the early time zone. We were 6 a.m. where everybody on the East Coast, we had a lot of East Coasters, so they were at 9 a.m. And they had a snowstorm, like a huge snowstorm. So some of them were trekking out in layers and layers. Some people were getting on the treadmill. One person was doing Taibo.
And a Les Mills dance video at one point. These guys were under like winter storm watch and winter storm advisory. I mean, we didn't say it during the, it's 1:11. It's always 1:11 when I look at the clock.
Always.
Or 11:11. These guys, we didn't say it during the camp, but I think those of us that were in San Diego that were just like, they are crazy. We heard stories of people dodging snowstorms and then having spiritual awakenings on their trek back. I mean, it was just, it was crazy. And one of the things, well, let me ask you, what was your biggest kind of oh my God, that's just so cool?
Right away, I'm thinking about cooking in the kitchen and people just asking questions about preparation and alternatives and recipes.
Oh, nice.
And I think the biggest fun spot was Renee, who is binging on the podcast. And so she was bringing up well, you talked about this at this episode and you had this guest on. And she was going all the way back, I think, to the beginning, episode 1. But it's just, for me, it was the community aspect of it and really off, I guess we could call it off camera, when there wasn't a scheduled thing. We had these mini discussions. Which is a thread we found when we were traveling across the country. It wasn't the big things. It was the little conversation we would have at the campground bathroom with someone about what we did, and maybe they can, maybe they've been wanting a shift in their life, and we just gave them permission to do that, pursue it.
And I think that to look at the itinerary and base your decision on what you see on the itinerary, if you're going to come or not, you're missing all those things that are not on the itinerary, right? And those are inevitable, you guys. If you know about us, you know that we never put it all. We put it all out there, but we never put it all out there. And so what we're asking of you is to feel it. If we're looking at the from 8 to 9 is this and 9 to 10 is this, and we're making our decision based on that, we're missing all the gold that's not on that itinerary. And what I loved about the people who showed up is they owned it and they made it theirs. So they weren't caught up in the times, because this was something that wasn't on the schedule, that we were getting on Zoom before every run. And so if somebody needed to drive somewhere to get their run in or to get their walk in, they would just join us on Zoom on their phone from the gym or the road. Or, we had people like in snowstorms on Zoom because they needed to get out earlier than the official start of the run or the triathlon so that they get the miles in, because they got 8 inches of snow and the footing is bad. So it's going to take them like twice as long. And that was my like, oh my God, this is so cool. Without asking us permission, is it okay if I do this? Or, what if I need to start earlier? They just got in there. They jumped in and they owned it and they made it theirs. And really the only thing was like at the top of the second hour. So every triathlon was on the schedule 2 hours long. But really all you needed to be there for was the top of the hour of the second hour was yoga and meditation. And you had 3 hours in between. So you could do whatever you needed in that 3 hours if you needed to drive to a location. And it was so cool because I think maybe we mentioned that like once leading up to it. But people found that on their own. They owned it and they made it work for them. And I love that. They took ownership of their experience.
It's I want to reference the intangibles, right? When we were watching that Tom Brady little clip in it, the coach is looking, and when he's like, when people are drafting athletes and they talk about the intangibles, they don't know what they're looking for. They just have a feeling. They just have a feeling that this person will be beneficial to the team. That just came to me because we were into the Brady mix this weekend because of the Super Bowl. But I mean, he's the very example. Like if you look at what's on paper, it doesn't line up with what you're now seeing as a human being. And so there's all this stuff that's in between that you just can't report on. You just don't have information. And if you rely solely on one bit of information, then you're almost shorting yourself into the opportunities that could come up. So yeah, camp, if you look at it on paper, it was yoga, it was running, and there was some meditation and some strength session. But underneath all of that were the intangibles. It was the feel goods. It was the laughter that we had. It was coming out of meditation and waking people up because they were so deep.
Oh my God, it was like
Saturday night.
Saturday night after the third triathlon. And we didn't, if you normally come to our yoga classes, like you were definitely in for a treat this weekend because we totally mixed it up. And one thing that I love that, besides the mind, you guys, before I went crazy on studying the mind, I went crazy for a decade studying the body. And so I really utilized those yoga sessions as ways to bring that part of me back out, and like my heart was so full when I was talking about proprioceptors and resetting tension and length in the body. And it was like in contract and relax and what that does, and just the musculature and the anatomy of the body, which I have pulled so far back on to study the mind, which is my true calling. But it was so fun to bring that back in. And we had everybody get blocks. So everybody had blocks and we taught them a lot about, we went deeper into the poses. Like I went deeper into like the physicality of the poses and like, do this and turn the lats on and use the blocks this way and notice how that feels. And where is it going with this? But anyway,
the person fell asleep on Saturday night.
Oh yeah, so Saturday night we did. I took them through a yoga nidra practice,
which is preferenced by saying, grab your pillows, grab your blankets, get comfortable.
Like get your socks on, get your athleisure wear on, your jammies. And Saturday night led a really gentle class and then took them into a deep yoga nidra practice, which yoga nidra brings you ideally to the state of between sleep and wakefulness. And so one of the campers basically like woke up like 2 hours later, like with noise canceling headphones on. The Zoom call was done. They were totally confused. It was just so funny, like to see people in that state of like awake and ready and then full on surrender. it was beautiful. It was beautiful. So I just loved how everybody owned it. And one of these hacks, you guys, I'm going to share with you like my hack on things that, and I started doing this when I was in high school. And when I was trying to make a decision, and I would like be, let's say I'm trying to make a decision, 16-year-old Jess, and I'm looking at like the itinerary of something, and I'm like, oh God, it doesn't really make sense for me to do this, or it's this amount of money, and and I'm in the mind about it, and I'm in the logistics of it. I would always ask myself, how am I going to feel if I say yes? So forget the money, forget the logistics, forget the schedule. How am I going to feel if I say yes? And then I would ask myself, how am I going to feel if I say no? And that was ultimately where I always made my decisions. And I remember doing this as a kid. I remember doing this leading up to the Grateful Dead concert. And I chose not to go to the Grateful Dead concert. I was 17 years old, and it was a $50 ticket. And I was stressed about money. I just remember it was really, really I was really stressed about money. I remember crying to my boyfriend on the phone about it. And he was like, I'll pay for it. And I was like, no, I've got to do it. I got to do it all by myself. And I remember asking myself, how am I going to feel if I say yes? And the answer was, I'm going to feel stressed. And how am I going to feel if I say no? And the answer was, I'm going to feel responsible. Because I thought, well, I'll be able to go later when I have more money and they go back out on tour. Well, Jerry Garcia died, and I never saw the Grateful Dead. Oh, deep regret, right? I got to let that go. But I always have thought about that. What a beautiful experience that was for me, because I took the responsible choice.
Well, the one that made sense on paper.
Yes. But I remember being like, I'll feel responsible. I'll feel grown up. That was a smart financial decision. And actually that was a beautiful, perfect decision, because I get to reflect on it even now. But I can see so clearly that it was a decision that was made out of scarcity and lack. And that I missed out on the experience.
Which just builds more decision-making patterns towards lack.
Right, which it most certainly did.
Right.
And all my friends had so much fun. And my boyfriend went, my friends went, and I didn't go. And then Jerry died. All right, moving on. So camp was awesome.
Yeah, it was great.
We've got the dates for next year, February 3rd to the 7th. So save the date.
Come out to sunny California.
Yeah, feel it.
Feel into it. If you need some some visuals, go to my Instagram page and you'll see some amazing photos of where we live and the beach, and where we'll be swimming and running and biking and doing yoga. It's pretty. Or actually, just get on the website. Probably the best spot to be. But anyway, loved camp. So excited for next year.
Okay. What
do you want to jump into
talk
now?
about? Oh, the Yoga Goes Vegan event.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
March 20th, from the Integral Yoga Institute of New York City, which is one of the OG yoga institutes in America, founded, I believe, by Swami Satchidananda, who is on my Yoga Sutras. He is the one who translated my Yoga Sutras, the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali. So legit dude. Also the founder of Yogaville in Virginia. And it's Yoga Goes Vegan. It's an all-day retreat. And it's hosted with, and I believe Victoria Moran, for sure, is the host, the lovely, lovely, classy Victoria Moran, who we love so much. And then
Clark.
Holly Scotus of Yoga is Vegan. And I first met Holly a couple of years ago. She reached out to me to write an article for her blog, Yoga is Vegan. And I'll put a link to it in the show notes. And I remember that blog being like, oh my gosh, how do I do this without being in judgment? How do I do this? Because judgment is violence, right? So it's all about ahimsa, nonviolence. And how do I write this article in a way that's inclusive, which is so important to me? I remember meditating and just trusting that when I would have the words, I would write the article. And I wrote the article, and I was really pleased with how it came out and the definition of what ahimsa, how that translated to the words that I shared. And then Holly has gone on to create a podcast, Yoga is Vegan, and is now pretty instrumental in this event. So March 20th is Meet Out Day, and it's been Meet Out Day since 1976. Isn't that crazy? So it's the 45th anniversary of Meet Out Day. And so it starts at 9:30 a.m. East Coast time. And there's going to be yoga class. I'm looking right now. If you're watching the video, you're seeing me look on my phone. So there are events all day long. It's totally virtual. 9:30 it starts with a welcome. 9:45 is a yoga class. And then there's all these different workshops, the nuts and bolts of being a vegan yogi with Victoria Moran. There is the symbolism of Krishna's love of butter video with Salish Rao. So, oh my gosh, this guy is amazing. So Salish Rao is a PhD founder of Climate Healers that you and I had the opportunity to see in Eve Encinitas. What a beautiful, gentle man doing amazing work in the world. There are vegan yoga and Ayurveda. Ayurveda is the ancient Indian medicine about balancing the body so that the body can heal itself. And then at 2:00, from 2 to 4, there is Yoga Ahimsa in Real Life, a vegan yogis panel. And I am on that panel. How cool is that? Woo! And I share the mics with a few other people. And so you can go to IYINY.org, which is the Integral Yoga Institute in New York City, and go under their workshops. You can see this whole itinerary that I'm looking at. Then there is Yoga Veganism for Kids, Our Future. There is How Will You Further Embody Ahimsa? Then there's a closing meditation, and it all ends at 6 p.m. East Coast time. You can register now. You'll see all the bios of the people that are going to be speaking. And Victoria did a lovely email to all of us, and she described who is this for? Who is this for? And I loved this. And I took I made it into a story today on Instagram, but it's basically for every vegan who feels a bit at odds with their yoga community, right? Because veganism and yoga can be it can be an interesting, awkward, weird melding. It's for every vegetarian yogi who's still fond of dairy. It is for yoga practitioners who have not yet moved to vegetarianism, but they're feeling this pull to living a more non-violent life. And then vegans who have not yet experienced the benefits of yoga. And of course, you guys, it's for everyone. But to help the mind get on board, we give little guidelines like this. And if any of those speak to you, check it out and come join us. So, and we are going to have Holly on the podcast. We're going to be launching that prior to the March 20th event. So Yoga Goes Vegan virtual yoga retreat. Who doesn't need a whole day of yoga and ahimsa and love? There's a lot of disturbance in the field if anybody hasn't noticed. So I'm really, really excited to be a part of this. Yeah.
And then you're also going to Costa Rica.
Oh my God. It's like the freaking Jess show. Yeah, I'm going to Costa Rica.
Well, this is all the news that's happening.
This is
what's
news,
happening.
People. This is breaking news. Oh my God. We had a great conversation at camp about news, which I'm happy to talk about at future camps. I love talking about the news. So April 10th.
Because that's coming up. Yeah, April
10th to the 17th, I am co-hosting the Awake Minds Yoga and Meditation Retreat in Nosara, Costa Rica, which is one of the world's blue zones. It is going to be held at the Blue Spirit Retreat Center. This is one of the most high vibrational places on this earth. And they have all the latest international COVID travel, all the new details and everything. They've got an on-site COVID testing for all the US travelers. You get your COVID test on the Wednesday before we head back into the States. And we received a beautiful email from Jose down there at Blue Spirit. And, I could pull it up and I'll probably share it at some point, but he just talked about how healthy they are and how vibrant. Like, it's literally like tears are coming to my eyes right now because how vibrant it is and how special of a place it is and how they feel so grateful to be located in such a high vibrational spot on this beautiful Mother Earth in the middle of so many, living in sickness and dis-ease and torment, right, in their bodies and in their minds. And that they're just so grateful that we are moving forward with it. They're so grateful for our support over the year. We told them we had paid them because this was supposed to be in 2020, and we paid them for the whole thing. And they have used that money, and not just our retreat, but all other retreats, the money that they had, they used that to keep those people employed and paid. And when I think about the scope of how big this retreat has become in its meaning, to me and also to Valerie and to Megan, who are my co-hosts. It's just, if this is something that feels aligned, then join us. We do have some rooms left, and we'd love to see you there. So the link to that is in the bio on my Instagram page, but you can reach out to us. I'll put a link in the show notes to Megan's website. So Megan's business is Awake Minds. Megan and Valerie and I all have studied under the same meditation teacher and under the same yoga teacher as BJ as well. So I think one of the most powerful things about this retreat is that the messaging is consistent. So the teachings are consistent, but they're delivered through our own unique voices, which are, those embody our unique gifts. And so, BJ, Megan and Valerie very well. And what do you think that they bring to the experience? Because obviously people who are listening to this know me to some degree.
Yeah, I think they flow along the same belief system, and the words may be slightly different, but it's the same calm, cool, and collected, and vibrant, and just from a source of love is what the message is from all of you guys. And that's just what our teacher told us, or told them what he taught us. He did tell us to. But I think it's amazing to have three powerful women, all in different scenarios in their life, in different parts of the country, and coming all together to convey a message that, it's just repeated over time and time again, is that, the answers are always inside. And so whether that comes through a yoga practice or the mindfulness practice, whatever it is, your powers alone come together to create this unique funnel of just love and abundance and permission that we all, deserve to treat ourselves to more kindness. And if you go on this retreat, I'm not going this year, but I will probably be there in the future. It's going to be powerful. I mean, I've heard all three of you talk. I've been to all three of your yoga classes. So I know the power that you guys can bring, but it's always from a level of understanding and meeting us all where we're at. So it's not overbearing. It's just actually so much laughter and joy and power, lots of power.
Yeah. Yeah. It's been a journey, because we originally was planned for April 2020, then it went to October 2020, and now it's April 2021. And, that email from Jose, it was like they want to welcome us in. The message that I received was not because of the money, but because he said they are faring so much better than the US. And that he wants us to be there so that we can be in their love, we can be in their vibration, we can be in their level of health, and we can be in a place that is not filled with fear or doubt. It was so beautiful how he said it, that they feel they're faring much better than we are here in the US. And, but they welcome us, right? Like flip that around. They're welcoming in members of a country that, numbers are still going up, and they're saying, come, let us care for you. I mean, how amazing is that? That's so powerful. So I love that. And if that speaks to you, then please join us. That would be amazing. And the three of us have been getting together, and we've been meditating together, and we've been setting our seeds of intent and letting the universe handle the details, because that's always the best way. Yeah. All right. BJ, Merry Christmas.
What? It's Merry Christmas. Am I supposed to? Oh
my God.
Yeah.
Dude. A little slow on the uptake.
Yeah. Wow.
What the heck?
We've been talking. I was just soaking it all up.
It's time for you to talk.
Wow. So I just got the best Christmas present 2 days ago that I've been manifesting for years. So years. I was like, years. And it just showed up 2 days ago without me saying one thing. Well, maybe I dropped a few hints here and there, but they were never taken seriously. So yeah, you're going to give me massage again.
So what happened? I went to take the dog for a pee.
And you came back and you said, I'm going to order a massage table. It's cheaper than, or the same as what one session is with a therapist. And I can use my skills that you went to school for in Boulder, Colorado, and then allow your magic hands to...
That was my nickname, wasn't it?
Magic hands. To start healing my body. And it will be reciprocal. I will also give you massage.
That was the deal. I'm like, can you give me...
But I don't have an education and I don't have technique. And I will
just
say...
rub my hammy? It
yeah,
freaking
rub
hurts.
your hammy. But the work that you would give me every week when I was at the height of my training was hands down what allowed me to excel so quickly in the sport of triathlon. And it has allowed me, some of the things that you taught me have allowed me to this point to just be as successful as I am. So now that you're bringing this back, I mean, what a gift for me to be back on the table to get massage once again. I'm so grateful. So grateful. So if you're asking how to manifest, you ask, the universe responds, and then you just sit and you allow for things to just work their way out without attachment. There you go. So when did you stop practicing? In Newport. 16? 15?
It's 2015.
So 2015. So 6 years ago, it took her to come back. Whew. All right, body's ready. We ordered a table, sheets, face cloth for the face cradle. We were talking. It was so funny.
I was like, no pad, no full body heater. We're not doing the hydrocollator this time.
It was like, it was a system that you and I too, I had down. There were times where I had to stop off at your studio and turn on your heating table on my way back from the pool so that you had a client there in an hour, and then it would be all warmed up. And there was washing of all the sheets and the face cradle covers and ordering the coconut oil that you would... it was just like we had a system going. Oh, and how about the hydroculator? Whew, okay, getting ahead of myself here.
I know.
Now, I'm just getting a massage. I know that next week at some point from my wife.
I was such a super overachiever back then that I just needed the best of everything. So like I bought like an $800 massage table, custom made. I got like the $400 hydrocollator, which was like the moist heat or however much that was. I don't know, $200. the pad, the this, the that, and it was all, I had a sweet setup. But yeah. So.
I'm so fired up. I don't know if my excitement is coming across on the camera. Especially at this point in my body sensation. It's been about 2 months since I've been able to, really been active.
Yeah. And I've been craving giving a massage.
Yeah, you have. So it's not just one-sided, like you've said.
No, I've been wanting to give a massage for like years. Yeah. And I said to you after you had another rough night of sleep, and I said, like regular massage, have you thought about getting a massage? And you said no. And I walked out and I took Clark for a walk, and it just hit me. It was like, I have a skill that I can, because it's also like tough to see you not running. It's tough. It's tough to see you not training like you want to train. And I got to let you have your experience. And I'm, even saying like, have you thought of having a massage? Like that's me trying to control it, trying to make you better. And I recognize that. And then I thought, oh my God, you have a skill. Like, and so for the cost of, 1 or 2 massages, you could just buy a table and you could work on your husband, and perhaps that would assist you in allowing him to heal, and like, I don't know, I have this skill that I can offer to you, and I love you, and I'm a part of your success. I'm a part of your goals. And so this feels right. And that's what it is. It feels right. It feels right. And I'm excited. So the table's not here yet, but it's been ordered. So I'm sure there'll be pictures.
I might have to call and get expedited shipping.
Well, we tried. We tried.
Yeah, because they're actually here. They're in Vista. They're like
9 minutes away.
Right, but we have to ship it because of COVID.
Because of our buddy COVID.
Right.
All right.
It's all allowing. All
okay.
right, let's dive into
moving on, BJ.
We got to talk about our blood work.
Yes, let's dive in.
The last time we had it done was 2017.
Mm-hmm.
The second time we've had it done with InsideTracker. I don't even know how we connected with them originally. Maybe just through Jonathan Levitt reaching out. But anyway, we connected, and we use InsideTracker to get our blood work done. It's so easy. You just sign up, get whatever program you want. They send you a slip. You set up. You set up a time with the local blood lab. Quest Diagnostics is the one that we go to, and we just show up with our paperwork. They take the blood and they ship it off to, I think in Boston is where they're out of, Cambridge. And they do the analysis, and then you get a full panel 3 to 5 days later of all your blood work results. And they give you recommendations on things that are low or at risk. And they give you recommendations on food and supplements that you can begin to add into your diet to help bring those things back up to normal. Or if they're too high, how to reduce them and bring them a little bit lower. It's phenomenal. And then we can add this little bit, this little extra bit, which is called inner age, which Jess and I did in 2017. And so we've been running a contest, as you've seen on social media, and we're going to release the results here. So we can just jump right into the inner age, I think. We can.
Yeah, so the inner age, and then we will announce those we'll announce the winners when we launch the podcast. But right now we're going to announce our inner ages. So we did put a correction in on the Instagram post. I said that my inner age in that video was 32, but it wasn't. My inner age in 2017 was 39.2. 39.2.
And how old were you at that? What was your actual age?
At that time, that was 2017, I was 44, and my inner age was 39.2. My inner age now is 47.3, and my chronological age is 48.9, which, thank you, InsideTracker. They say it's nice work. I'm not so pleased with the gain of my inner age, but they are based on my biomarkers, and my biomarkers were basically my blood in that moment when the blood was drawn. So my inner age now 47.3. So whoever guessed without going over my inner age will receive a free inner age.
In addition to their test that they purchase.
Yes. When you purchase blood work through InsideTracker, you will get for free, because of this contest, a free inner age, which I think is like $179 value.
And you can use our code to save on your package. Use code Yogi Triathlete and you get 22%.
Yeah, 22%.
Off.
That's awesome. I don't know if it was that big before. That's awesome. All right, what's your inner age situation?
So for me,
I'm still beating the clock, by the way. That's what it says. Nice work. You're still beating the clock.
So if anybody can remember how sad I was last time I got my blood tested, this was a shocker for me. I think I was in the height of doing 3 Ironmans that year, really fit and strong. And I was this is awesome. Like, let's get this thing going. My chronological age in 2017 at this point was 44.4. My inner age was 49. So my inner age was actually 4.6 years older than what I was. So this fit, strong, super healthy triathlete with 3 Ironmans on the tap, probably I think I had already done 1 at that point, was actually older by his biomarkers. So not looking very good. Then we fast forward to last week. My chronological age now is 48. And my inner age is 44.6. So I have reversed that by 5 years. As I've gotten older, I've reduced my biomarkers, so my inner age is actually lower, which
that's so cool.
Is pretty cool.
You're also not doing a huge block of training.
I'm not doing a huge block of training, but I will say when we get into the blood work details, I have some things to work on that are pretty.
Like go into the overall.
I love this dashboard they have.
Go into I love the way you receive these results. So your biomarkers at a glance. You got that?
Biomarkers breakdown.
It tells you what is optimized, needs improvement, and what's at risk.
My at risk, I have 4 biomarkers at risk. I have 8 that needs improvement and 36 that are optimized.
Sweet.
How about you?
Okay. I have 35 that are optimized.
You're doing it in reverse.
I have 11. This is so unacceptable to me. That need improvement. And 1 that's at risk, which is like super.
All right. So what's the one at risk?
Super unacceptable.
Let's go into the at risk.
It really makes me think like, I don't know how people are walking around with crazy numbers and not doing anything about it. Because I've got 1 number that's at risk and it's, oh man, you guys, you're going to die when you hear this. You have no idea. This is crazy. This takes a lot for me to reveal this. My LDL cholesterol, which is not the good cholesterol, is at risk. So my LDL cholesterol was in 2017 at 97, which is the top of my optimized zone. It is now 120. So my LDL, which is not the good cholesterol, has increased 23 points. So I'm going to do a quick reference to one of our favorite shows, Friends from College, on Netflix, when Max, character Max, who is played by Fred Savage, is sitting down in the publisher's office with his best friend Ethan from college, and Ethan is an author and Max is his agent, but he wants credit for all the ideas that he gives to Ethan. And so Ethan goes, well, why don't you just write the book? And so now they're selling the publisher on... Who's sitting there on Max writing the book, because Max is like, I want credit, right? The ego wants credit. And Fred Savage's character is like my absolute favorite. And he's sitting there and he's going, and he's having this total like psychotic break. He's like, well, when I think about this, I put my agent hat on and I say, well, Max doesn't have any experience at this. And then I put my author hat on and I'm like, author hat, like, oh, this is amazing. This is such a great opportunity. And then I put my agent hat back on and I go, no, this is not. And then I put my author hat back on. And that was what happened to me when I opened this up and looked that my bad cholesterol is now higher. I was like, you can't tell anybody this. You have to tell everybody this. This is the worst. This is the best. This is so awesome. This is everything you talk about, Jess. Be an open book. This is a reflection on you. This is an opportunity to do exactly what I say I want to do, which is reach higher levels of health. For years, I've had the subtle, intuitive voice telling me to stop with the olive oil, to stop with the coconut oil. For years, I remember sitting in the conference room at the Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine across the table from Dr. Neil Barnard, and he's doing the glug, glug, glug thing about the oil. And I'm like, oh my God, I've totally heard the glug. I've heard the glug when I'm roasting vegetables. I've heard the glug. Now, granted, I have scaled it back over the years, but I think I started to get back into it. Scraping the kale chips on the bottom of the roasting pan. When we went vegan, there were no vegan cinnamon rolls. There was no vegan birthday cake. There was no vegan scones. There was no vegan amazing cheese. There was none of that stuff. And now there is. And so, I think I've gotten too comfortable with having tofu sausages as a staple, which is a highly processed food. I've gotten comfortable with the coconut oil and the olive oil again. I've gotten, don't think twice about having a vegan scone or a cinnamon bun. And I think that this number is going to be a piece of cake. Like, I believe that. I believe this is going to be, that's so, is that a pun? Is that a pun? I really believe that this is my opportunity to be open and let you know that I really believe that it's already happened. I can already feel like my LDL has already dropped. And why? Because I believe that. I believe that. And why do I know that I believe that? Because I know the thoughts that are underneath it are absent of doubt. It's absent of doubt. So, my overall cholesterol is good. My overall cholesterol is in the optimized zone, like the overall number, but the LDL has definitely gone up. And it's so funny, now that I'm talking about this, I feel really good. It's off my chest.
It's therapy session.
I've been carrying this. And then you guys, so we create everything, right? So remove from your vocabulary that it is what it is, or it is how it's supposed to be. No, it's not. It's how we created it to be. So Dr. Neil Barnard in 2016, hitting me with the glug, glug, glug. Rip Esselstyn,
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago with the no oil, where I'm like, you know what? Yeah, this isn't going to be hard. And that was my moment where I was like, let's do this. And then I get the InsideTracker results back, and I'm like, okay, now it's time to up the label reading ninja warrior gang. Right? Which is what Rip said. You got to become a label reading ninja warrior. And so now it's before the InsideTracker results, it was like, okay, no more olive oil. We're going to saute dry or broth. And now it's like, okay, what's in the house that's processed and what's in the house that has oil in it? So it is a great opportunity. I have also noticed that my body, as we meditate, as we raise our consciousness, our body has less of a tolerance for things that are not pure. And, I'll eat gluten pizza crust, which never bothered me, and I'll have a headache after the second piece. And so I've been getting these hits that my body is like, clean it up, girl, because what you're putting in is not vibing with our cells. So this is a great opportunity. I'm really excited. And then a couple of the other things were just B12. And vitamin D were a little low. Nothing is at risk, just that LDL. A couple of things need work. And so this blood work that we got is really not on any kind of supplements. We didn't take any supplements at all. We did the B12 spray sometimes. Now we're doing it every day. And my plan is to get the blood done again in 3 months. So we'll take a look at that in 3 months.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good therapy for you.
Oh my God. I feel like, it's out there.
Floodgates are open.
You can love me or you can hate me, but I feel lighter now. Sugar was good. Let me just go through this.
Yeah.
Oh, inflammation was a little bit higher, but I did 2 no-nos, you guys. I did a hard workout the day before, which you're not supposed to do, but I woke up feeling very ambitious and I did it. So inflammation was a little high, which doesn't surprise me. And I also had a small glass of wine the night before, and it says no alcohol. So I did 2 no-nos. But everything else is, nothing else is, liver function, which is interesting because liver is where your cholesterol is made, which is interesting. And my liver, all my liver enzymes, creatine, cortisol, sodium, yay, sodium. It's all optimized because I love salty stuff. Potassium. Yeah, I'm also going to be checking the potato chips. Magnesium, calcium, like folate. I'm scrolling through this right now. My platelets, my blood cells, everything is good to go. So it's that LDL that has my attention and it has my love, and I'm going to go for it. Whew.
It's a lot.
Wow.
It's a selfie from the inside.
It is a selfie from the inside.
Now you know.
And it's what I love about blood work is that it will let you know if there's something going on in your body that would say to me, okay, now go seek additional support. And, I'll get it tested again in 3 months and then see from there. But I feel pretty confident that I know what to do. Mm-hmm. And I love it because I get to clean up my body even more.
And sharpening the knife.
Yeah.
We're eating well. We got a little,
Yeah. And
dull.
It's not considered high. It's just at risk,
right.
which is totally unacceptable for me.
Right.
That's no good. Not for me. No. All right. Go, Beej.
Okay.
Yours is so interesting.
So for me, we'll start off with the cortisol. Went from in the normal optimized range right up to at risk. Well, I mean, to high. I think it went up 8 points. So it's a stress indicator. And I love the recommendations because if you think mindfulness is going to take away all your high cortisol levels or stress, it's not true. One of the recommendations is to meditate for 30 minutes a day, which I already do. So it's just an interesting reading because I don't feel very stressed. I don't have a lot of training stress load on my body. I'm not engaged in a lot of stressful conversations or stressful things. So I think it's really just my body sending all troops in to heal whatever this is going on in my body on my left side, which is, I strongly believe it's just a pinched sciatic nerve. It's just some inflammation that's really pinching it together, and I just need to floss that out. And so the body's sending everything in there. It's in fight or flight, and it's like we gotta heal this. And then the second thing is the inflammation group. Not doing so well there. Went from good, it skipped needs work and went right down to at risk. So if you see the chart, it went right down from good to at risk. So that means low white blood cell count, inflammation levels in the body is rising. And so this all makes sense into my healing.
And I loved Bob's perspective, Meditator Bob's perspective yesterday about, of course, your white blood.
Because I'm healing.
Yeah.
Because I'm healing. And as a side note, I've started to see a acupuncturist, and she's working on my energy levels, but she's also going to work on raising my white blood cells through some herbs. But as you were talking about, I already feel mindfully and mentally that I'm already working through this stuff in my body and quickly shifting resources to sort of flush this out and call everything in to move this stuff along. So again, low white blood cells, fatigue. I'm not really fatigued. I'm having restless sleep. So my sleep is not straight through. So there's the inconsistency and really optimizing my opportunity to heal and recover. Neutrophils or in my immune system is the other thing. White blood cells we just talked about. So really it's...
your iron.
Yeah, where's the iron?
Because that was...
iron group.
That was a biomarker last time. That was no bueno.
Yeah, iron's gone up from at risk to needs work.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Which we can just rephrase that to still working on. So it's so cool how they deliver these results and they show you the trajectory, especially when you do multiple tests with them over the years. They'll show you really like what I'm looking at right now is this chart, and it shows like where Beej was in 2017 and then the trajectory up or down. But yeah, I mean, everything makes sense that the white blood cells is going to affect those other biomarkers. And so you are working with Dr. Alex, and what was her response when she looked at what you needed work on? Yeah,
she was saying, we just need to bring up your white blood cell count. The inflammation in the body is high, which means it's healing, right? That's why inflammation happens. So she's going to boost up.
Yeah, inflammation is the actual healing. The inflammation is the body's mechanism to heal. Inflammation gets a bad rap. I've always said that. That's going back to massage days too. I used to say that all the time, like, make inflammation your friend.
So yeah, she's going to she's working on me once a week now and bringing energy and chi into raising my chi in the body and giving me some herbs that I'll be able to start taking. And we'll get this thing resolved. I know we will. And so, yeah, I can't wait to get blood work done again. I'm really happy. I know there's 4 at risk, but they're things that I know that I have complete control over. It's not like out of my wheelhouse to address each one individually. So for me, no olive oil. Getting back onto citrus fruit, grapefruit, which we started to bring back into the house, ginger, red peppers. Just really being sharpening that knife into the foods that are going into my body, especially now since I'm not training super hard.
And I think this is such a great example of perspective, right? So we can take the perspective of like, oh my God, BJ, your white blood cells are low. Like you can't go outside. You're at risk for infection. We could really take this fear perspective, or we can say, yeah, of course they are. Like you're healing a deep, something really deep. Like, and when I'm talking about deep, I'm not talking about the actual depth within your body. I'm talking about deep within your soul. You are healing something so deep. This is very similar to, it's really the next, I think, let's just say the final healing of what you went through in 2014, where you hit your rock bottom. So we can look at it that way and say, yeah, of course. And so you've got a great pit crew around you. And I love Bob, like, it was also like, you need to sleep in order to build white blood cells because you need to be at rest and your stress is high. And Meditator Bob's like, body's tired enough. You'll sleep.
Yeah. Meditation is better than sleep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what, and the same thing with me, like I could be like, I'm going to have a heart attack. And I could focus on that and give that my invitation, or I could be like, oh my God, this is another evidence that everything is for me. This is giving me exactly what I want, which is a higher state of health. How beautiful.
So it's back to taking ownership of your health.
Yeah.
Like I went into, I think I know what you were going with Dr. Alex. She was like, I got your blood result. Oh, have you talked to your doctor yet? And I said, I don't really have a doctor. You're my doctor. You are going to help me, guide me along this journey to health. But I know that this is all in my control. I have said this from the start, like I believe I can heal myself with the guidance of those people I believe in. And it's already happening. And
then what are some other things that Meditator Bob introduced to you yesterday about like the interrupted sleep that you're having, how to even kind of interrupt the interruption that you're having with your sleep?
Oh, just by meditating. Yeah, so what I've been doing now is going from our bed down here to the floor with some floor pillows just to see if that will help. But he's saying just interrupt that and get up and meditate. Bring some calm to the body and meditate as long as you can, and do it again and again. It's almost better than, or it is better than sleep. It's better than sleep. Yeah. I agree. Yeah. So learning, these are just opportunities to learn. We're not condemned to a life of inadequate blood results. We're condemned to a life that we need to keep leveling up, to keep getting curious, to keep feeding our bodies the highest and best nutrition we can. And this is just another reminder that it doesn't stop. You got to keep going. You got to keep going.
And it was just a snapshot in time.
Right.
Our blood work is a snapshot in time. That happened on Monday, February 1st, like Monday, February 1st. That was the snapshot in time. And so then we take the evidence of that snapshot, and then we get to form the beliefs or the thoughts, right? We can indulge the thoughts that we desire, which is going to bring us to a higher state of health. And then as we practice those thoughts, those will become our beliefs. And we can go in any direction that we want to go in with that. And everything is always changing. It is the nature of this, of nature, of prakriti, which is nature. And nature includes the body. The body is a part of nature. And everything is always changing. So if there's something in your life that's not changing, it is changing. It's just changing to be the same thing over and over again. So look at the belief around, or so go to the feeling, maybe the feeling of that thing that just doesn't change in your life. Like how does it feel? And then ask yourself, what do I need to believe in order to feel this way? Because it's that belief that's dictating the cycle that seems like it's not changing, but it is changing. It's just changing to be the same. Change that is the same. Isn't that cool? So powerful. We're in charge. Like I shouldn't say we're in charge, but like we have a say.
Yes, take ownership of your health.
And
act on it. Act on it.
Yeah, I know. I'm like freaking out. Like people who are not acting on their health, it's like, I keep saying that. I'm like, oh my God, like people have like super high cholesterol.
If this is
they're
us,
not acting on their health.
If this is us and we're getting this stuff, oh my God, what's happening with others? Oh boy.
But that's not like,
that's not, I
gotta
gotta take care of me. I gotta take care of this temple.
I gotta do my own temple.
I gotta do my own thing.
I gotta do my own temple. Oh my God.
All right.
So, hey, thanks for the therapy session, everyone. And congratulations to the winners that we will be announcing when we launch this, because we'll already have all the guesses by then. So, yeah. So my inner age, what did I say? 40. Why did I do this? Everyone's like, okay, enough. Let it be over. Let the podcast be over now.
No.
Podcast needs to be over now.
No.
It's my inner age. I don't have my glasses on. I don't know. Whatever I said at the beginning of
47. Was it
47.3.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mine's 44.6.
Okay.
All right.
The practice of the podcast is now over. Thank you guys for joining us. We love you all.
Love you all.